Why do you actually want to be a farmer in the first place? You kind of have to be slightly nuts, don't you? The winter time, you're up in the middle of the night, freezing cold, it's raining, got a difficult calving, and the complete opposite in the summertime when you're out in the fields trying to get crops in and it's 30 odd degrees, and you question, why do you do it? It is an odd one. It just keeps drawing you back to the farm.
This is Fen Farm Dairy.
With the autumn, you know that the work is coming. The amount of cheese you've got to make, the amount of animals which you've got to be fed, and then coupled with that, you've got the days are drawing in, the afternoons of those hot sunny evenings are disappearing, and the mornings you're waking up again in the pitch black dark, and it's all started to just come in on you. Fen Farm is about a group of people, it's not about any one individual. Obviously it feels amazing starting a cheese business 10 years ago and recognised across the UK now. When you're in it and you're doing it day to day, it's just another day, isn't it? I don't wake up every morning thinking, oh amazing, we've made cheese and people eat it and they love it. It doesn't work like that, does it?
This is like my weapon of choice in the morning, the pH reader.
One of the things what we learned from last Christmas was we just didn't have a big enough dispatch area, and the last year, as the time has gone by, we've been busy working away behind the scenes of building nearly the same size building as what we already had.
As the cheese is wrapped through there, it'll come into our chiller. So this is where everything comes together.
It's going to be a much, much improved situation. Gallons of space to put cheese.
So the main chiller is regular temperature, so 5 degrees sub. Well, you can see through into your room now. You can see the ramp down. So there's the doorway. Push the cheese through the doorway, down the ramp, and into the respective chiller.
This time last year we had a window here, we looked into a shed, and now we've got David and some trays. This is our new dispatch area. Have you been in here, Sam? No? We've done it all ourselves. You take advice and do the best you can. Oh, that's fine, yeah. But then you learn from that, and so the second time you do it, you're much better equipped and understand like the process and the flow of everything so much clearer. As you move into winter, the autumn disappears and the leaves fall off the trees. When you wake up in the morning, you open the door and the weather hits you in the face in the pitch black dark. It's challenging.
Come on, girls. Come on.
Cows don't seem too bothered about winter and darkness and cold. They're quite content just being in their shed during the winter months.
The one at the front there, Tesco, she's a lovely cow.
Seeing the seasons change, it's something really special about that. It's not a repetitive, the same thing keeps happening every day. It just drifts into the new season and out again, and then you see the next thing. So you're really at home with nature, and you've got that connection between that land and the animal, and that's an addictive thing. You go out to the marshes and the cows are all sitting there peacefully. You give them a shout and they all get up and start walking back towards the farm, ready for milking. And when you're just out there, you and the cows and the marshes and the wildlife, it's incredibly special.
You wouldn't get a farm like we've got now without, you know, a load of work gone into it and stress times. I mean, there's times when, you know, there's a tremendous amount of stress. I think farming is something which is in a person. Yes, there is some come out of the towns and cities who buy a farm and make a go of it, but I think 90% of farmers stem from, you know, family farms, and that's in the blood.
Then you get this like really sort of exciting time. The winter is sort of, you know, it's sort of, most of it is behind you now, and the mornings start drawing out and ready for this magical time when you turn the cows back out on the grass.
All the while you have to sort of think about, where are we going? People appreciate the cheese comes from a real farm. It's important to people. They're buying the product because probably number one, it's gooey and it's delicious. That's why people buy it more than anything. But behind that, they know it's come from a real place, a real farm. Bungay, our little town, you know, seeing the changes here in that time, it does point towards people do want to support local produce, British produce, produce which has got story behind it, real people.
Patience is what you need, and I have plenty of that.
As spring rolls into summer, you then start seeing the changes in the colours from like this fast growing period of the spring to things slowing down. You know what's just around the corner, harvest time, and it's all full steam ahead once again.
A lot of dairy farmers in the UK are actually making a decision and changing the way they go about grazing their land and crops that they plant. The way we think about the environment is definitely changing for farmers. You get dry years, you get wet years, but it does keep pointing towards the same things each summer, that we are getting drier and drier summers. This year has been horrendous. Our crops look terrible. We're really short on forage. We're going to really struggle to get through the winter.
Really unfortunate year to have planted so many trees, because we're not comfortable with just running water out of the mains to kind of look after all these new planted things. We'd want enough rain to kind of sustain them, but unfortunately this year that's not been the case.
Well, you say this year, but is that realistically just going to be an ongoing issue?
My understanding is that it will be, yeah.
The four massive changes which we've had in the last few years, starting with Brexit, lockdowns and COVID, the war in Ukraine, and increasingly the environment, all of those things do point towards growing things locally in smaller ways, better communities, and foods which has the story behind it from real people.
I love this, and it's not a job, it's just life. Where else can you get a chance where you can start at the beginning of the year and go through all of these seasons all the way back to where you began and see 12 months of all of this change? It's a really satisfying, enjoyable place to be. How many places can truly say, when they look out there on the field and they see the soil and the grass, what grows, it's their cows which eat that grass, which produce the milk, which then goes on to making products like what we do here, like the cheese and the butter, the yogurt, the raw milk. As time has gone by, it's just got more exciting, really, because it's not just us anymore. It's a team of people, and that's what makes the whole thing special, rewarding. Like you've just made the world that little bit better.